Well, hey, my friends, I'm so glad that you're with me here on another episode of the Thriving Christian Artist Podcast. I'm really excited to welcome back to the podcast Pat Butinsky, who is longtime friend, incredible mentor and teacher and mother to creatives all over the world. We got to know each other years ago through our mentoring program, and you may have listened to her on episode 22 of this podcast and heard her incredible story. But Pat, man, I'm so excited that you're here with me again today. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for your graciousness and for having me on. This is quite a privilege and a pleasure. As you know, I lost my account and my reach. And I thank you for putting a hand out.
Yeah.
And giving me a voice so that I can share this journey and hopefully help others avoid it, as well as I'd like to share a little bit about what it feels like to have that rug pulled out from under you.
Yeah.
And now the 73,000 people that you could reach are gone.
Yeah. So let me set this up for people, because as folks are listening, I know that folks that have followed you for years, kind of know what's going on from you reaching out and that sort of thing. But we wanted to do this podcast today because I was literally scrolling through Facebook, not too long ago, and I saw you come on talking about losing your account. I was like, what is she talking about? Like, because we've done episodes in the mentoring program of, I remember this has been years ago, talking about how to get people to follow you on Instagram. And I mean, there's just been such incredible favor that you've had over the years on Instagram, and that's been a major part of your business and selling. And then all of a sudden I saw Pat got hacked. Like, what in the world? So roll the tape back a little bit and, talk about just a little bit maybe of the power and the role that Instagram has had in your business and in your life over these last few years. And then we can kind of get into what happened, because we're going to use this as a learning opportunity today. And one of those things that, the enemy meant for evil, God meant for good in our life. So.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, if you listen to podcast 22, you'll hear how I got involved in Instagram. And, again, it was one of those things where I had gotten to a very dark place. And I did want to share at some point, Ecclesiastes 3 has become like such a key verse for me now about seasons. And I'm not unfamiliar with these kinds of seasons. However, Instagram for me came when I could no longer get out and teach, because I had developed Meniere's disease, which was now in a chronic state.
Yeah.
And I won't go into the details of that. You can Google it. But I could no longer travel and drive, let alone stand up for long periods of time, repeated vertigo episodes and things like this. So I had to give up my teaching positions and my being out there and even doing shows and all the things that you encourage people to do.
Yeah, that you do as an artist, right?
And it was like, okay, well, now what do I do? And at the same time, it followed on the heels of, I think it was 2008 or 2009 when the economy tanked.
Yeah.
And your story kind of started to blossom.
Yeah, same time, right.
Okay, what's next? So the galleries dried up, and then, I got ill, and then that dried up, and that avenue. So all these avenues seemed closed. And one of my students came down to me and said, Pat, you need to paint and you need to work. And she said, this is Instagram, download Instagram. And she said, just paint and post.
Yeah. Simple.
So I said, okay, so I could still talk to artists, because that's what I was used to doing as a teacher. And I just painted and posted. And as you said, I just received so much favor from the Lord that, it just blew up. And I really have to give God the glory. I mean, I kept bringing it, but I kept bringing it because it's what I love to do. It's who I am. I'm a painter.
It was never a marketing shtick for you, right? It was just who you are, right?
It was just who I am. And I called it Pat Butinsky Art Talk, never even dreaming that you could sell on Instagram. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
but I just want to talk about art because that's what art teachers do.
Yeah, right.
It's like, can somebody talk to me? So that's what I did. And I just shared my heart and my art.
Yeah.
And people identified with it. And I have to say that, you know, I just see it as God breathed on it. He breathed on it. He
Yeah.
saw my need and he made a way where there was no way, and he breathed on it. And back then, Instagram was very organic.
Right.
We didn't know algorithm from, you know, drum rhythm.
Yeah. Whatever.
You know, what is that? Bots? We didn't know what that, we didn't know anything, but we just made friends. And it was a really wonderful, safe community. And I liked it personally better than Facebook, because when I got on Facebook, you know, it was I got interrupted, whereas Instagram will put you in, you know, your lane and just keep feeding you that stuff and not try to reintroduce other things. So that was really, really wonderful to me. And 7 years, I had gotten to the point of, I was right around 76K, and the algorithm changed. So then it was just uphill, downhill. And we were all trying to figure that out. They let go of the algorithm thing and realized, you know what, it's a robot.
Yeah.
So just keep doing what you're doing. And then we had to do a certain dance, you know, on social media, and we're seeing that on Facebook too. You know, you're going to get rewarded if you do reels.
Yeah.
Because now it's not just about your content and what you're writing and what you're putting out there and putting your best work forward. Now you have to become a videographer.
Yeah, sure.
Because Instagram wants to compete with TikTok.
Right.
And so they
your whole life in 30-second snippets, right? I mean, it really is.
Yeah. Bing, bong, boom. So, you know, you get less and less time to paint, and you're now turning into this other thing so that they can attract advertisers.
Yeah, right.
And get billions of dollars.
Right. It's the symbiotic dance that we're all trying to do, right? So,
yeah.
So I know for you, Pat, you know, over these, you know, years, even though all that's kind of going on, this became really the major outlet for you as far as sales, connecting with people. You even did an e-course, I think a couple of e-courses and that sort of thing, getting that out to people and that sort of thing. So this was not just like, oh, I'm doing social media. This was becoming and did become the major channel through which you're not only touching people, but also receiving income as well through your art business, right?
Yes, to the point where I stepped out and now I have a big studio and it's amazing. And then within a month, bam.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you being on your belly going, okay, Lord, what are we doing?
Yeah. So talk about that, Pat, because you're going along and everybody, you know, we've gone through COVID, Lord Jesus, we've gone through all the stuff, you know.
Best year ever for business.
Yeah. I mean, it's been nuts. And so something began to change. Like, what happened in this situation where you realize, oh my gosh, something bad has gone wrong in my Instagram account?
Well, it happened in a second. I get a lot, of course, just like you would get, a lot of people that DM me, and I do my sales that way, but also they DM me for help, or they DM me for support or whatever.
Yeah.
And of course, I can't help everybody. I'm a one-person operation, and I can't help everybody. So I was getting a lot of DMs, you know, to authenticate people as for Blue Seal, or with them applying for something as a student, a grant or whatever. And I was saying no a lot, but I had gotten one, somebody who was trying to get their Blue Seal, somebody that I knew, but I didn't know her well. And she wanted to apply for a Blue Seal. And I had said, you know, it doesn't seem to really help your sales, but, you know, I don't think I'm comfortable doing that. And she's like, please. And I was like, well, I'm going to think about that. And I said, I've had a lot of people try, but it doesn't really help. And she's like, well, can I at least try? And it took me like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting by myself, and I said, when did I get to be such a pig-headed, big to do that I can't help this person.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay. And so I got this link to screen shoot and I did it and they were in.
Wow. So in that moment, they used that link right there to.
And immediately they changed my email account. They changed my telephone number. So everything I was trying to do to authenticate myself was going to them.
In an
Even
instant.
doing, there's a thing that you can do where you can send them pictures of yourself and all different. And they just kept getting rejected. Everything was rerouted. These hackers are really smart.
Wow.
And at one point, my son, Jake, left a voice message with them and said, you know, would you please just let this woman's account go? It's her livelihood, blah, 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 blah. And they answered back, and they really were, in fact, from Nigeria. But what we heard in the background was a room full of people.
Wow. Wow.
It sounded like PBS.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are big rings.
Wow.
And this is some serious.
You're imagining like a call center of these people.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
And
so there you are, you realize this has happened like instantly, all of your ability to touch your students, the sales, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it just like poof, vanishes.
Yeah. Poof.
Exactly. So what are you thinking at this point? I mean, you're like stunned, in shock, right? I mean,
there's still got to be a way. There's still got to be a way to get back. There's still got to be a way. And I kept trying and trying and trying. And I even had a friend whose daughter works for Instagram. And, you know, they're under all kinds of, you know, privacy clauses and stuff. But at one point she had said to me, like, if you ever get in trouble, like we have these things called the key and I might be able to help you get your account back. And so I called in that favor.
wow.
And basically it was, I gave her all the information. She said, now, once I give the information, she goes, I will have no more contact with them. They will contact you. And she goes, we're two different departments. There's product development and, you know, they're, you know, technical support.
Yeah.
So that didn't go anywhere. And then I was on a phone call trying to straighten out my new Verizon Fios in my great new 1,200-foot studio. And I was just getting really flustered. And the guy that was helping me, I just started crying.
Yeah.
And he was, and then I said, you know, all I want to do is pay my bill. Could I just pay my bill?
Yeah.
Help me to pay my bill. And he was like, wait a minute. And like, he hung up and he called me and he tried really hard to get me back in.
Yeah.
Tried really hard to hack the hackers.
Wow.
He was from India and he was very, very kind to me. And he worked really, really hard. And, you know, but he really couldn't get it going either.
Wow. Wow. So there you are in this position of, you know who God's called you to be, you know what you carry, you know, all the stuff. And yet this has instantly been cut off. And I know all of us, if it's not a technological thing like this, we've all gone through seasons like this where we're faced with either, okay, I can get up and go crawl in a ball in the corner and either just, you know, that's it, or I can try to hear the Lord in the middle of this and try to pivot. So what have you been doing in the process of trying to pivot in this crazy season?
Well, first of all, you do curl in a ball and cry out to the Lord. You just do. I mean, that's normal.
Completely appropriate, right?
Well, yeah, it's completely appropriate.
Right.
You know, I couldn't positively affirm my way out of this.
Right.
And I was in
Exactly.
doo-doo. You know what I mean? And what I could say is, Lord, help.
Yeah.
You know, give me the strength to endure this.
Yeah.
Also, give me the faith that if you're calling me out of this, like the apostles, leave your nets behind.
Yeah.
I'm willing to leave my nets behind. I just need you to take my hand and tell me what you would want me to do and where you want me to follow you. Because I know you love me.
Yeah.
I know you work all things together for good to those who love you and are called according to your purpose.
Yeah.
So where are we going?
Yeah.
I'm willing to go. I'm willing to leave it all behind if you're calling me to something else to serve your purpose.
And
And
you're
that's where I
still,
got
I
it.
would say, right in the middle of that, right? I mean, this is not like this happened 3 years ago. I mean, this is like weeks that you're still in
This
the,
is weeks. This happened
yeah,
April 7th.
yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, it's really, served the purpose of helping me, know that you can't put all your eggs in one basket, like you say.
Yeah.
And I never had an intention of putting all my eggs in one basket. It's just that because of the Meniere's, which isn't my excuse for everything,
Right.
I really needed to be able to put my best foot forward, and I knew that that had to be concentrated.
Yeah.
I kept building my website, but I kept getting distracted because I would have a lot of success in another area and which
Mm.
demanded my attention. So it never quite got finished.
Yeah.
So that's really important. The other thing that I learned about this is that it's very important because you lose all your content.
Yeah.
You lose your content, you lose all your marketing. I mean, I wrote my, captions on Instagram. I posted and wrote my stuff there.
Right. Intuitively, right?
Intuitively. I
Yeah.
didn't write it someplace else and then copy and paste it there. I wrote it all there. It was all there. And so I can't get that back.
Mm.
But I interviewed another woman whose account was disabled, which is a whole other ball of wax that can happen for no apparent reason until you start tracing your steps. And we should talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But she had suggested, writing it in notes and saving, you can even save pictures now to notes and then copy and pasting it into Instagram.
Yeah.
Also, I've had other people come on and say, and I do post to Facebook as well, but they hacked into my Facebook account also to the point of where they filed a form to say that I was deceased.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So Pat, I'm sure people are sitting out there going, "Oh my gosh, I just got on Instagram 2 years ago, and we think it's this wonderful thing, and now I'm hearing this story, and I'm freaked out a little bit, and all that." What would you say are, the 3, 4, 5 things that people need to be doing right now when things are good, when there are no problems? What can people be doing right now? Things that you've learned to protect themselves. And I'm thinking one of the things, I talk about this all the time, always be building your email list on your
Yes.
website, because if
Absolutely.
social goes away, you don't have any contact with those people anymore, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
what are some of those things you've learned that are great tips that people
So that is one. Your email list is really important because my email list wasn't huge compared to my following, of course. I probably have around 1,500 people on my email list, again, organically speaking, but it's still 1,500 people I can reach out to and say I was hacked.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that didn't hear anything about it, Matt, and still following the account, and they're still stealing my content and posting it on my old account. So people think it's still alive and active. And then when people started making noise, they now turned my account into a private account. So now they have in there all my followers insulated that aren't going to hear any flack from outside of that. So you really need to know that they're phishing.
Wow.
How you can protect yourself is you need to go into your settings and you need to double authenticate your account. That means that you need to have your email. Yes, you need to have a phone number, but also you can go beyond that. And I would say save a place where Instagram can send an authentication code so you can get back in. And I chose WhatsApp because of the guy that was helping me.
Right.
Supposedly it's encrypted. And so you can have that option if they hijack your email address and your phone number.
Yeah.
That you can have your authentication code sent to WhatsApp and move quickly.
Yeah.
The other thing that you can do is to make sure, again, like I said, as you're going along, and it's a hassle. Just make sure that you write your content someplace else and then post it so that you have that.
Yeah.
Other thing that I learned is there is an extension that you can get through Google, and it's called IG Export, and you can save followers. Save followers. Now you can save about 500 for free, and then it's inexpensive, and it's on a monthly basis. You can save, I think, up to 50K, because you can't remember everybody's handle.
Yeah.
And so what became my motivation after a while, not just getting my business back, is I realized I'm not getting it back, but a lot of more people are going to lose theirs if I can't get through.
Yeah.
So when you said you would like to interview me, I was like, please do.
Yeah.
Because I want people to know.
Yeah.
I have heard very, very little from the Creative to Thrive people.
Yeah.
So many of them don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And so they can be fished through my account. And when people get, hey, it's me, Pat, I built up some really strong integrity over time. And if I'm asking somebody for help, because I've helped a lot of people, and just because it's what I do, a lot of people are going to say, okay, sure, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to trust it.
Well,
So
and trust your gut too. I mean, I'm thinking, I mean, always hindsight's 2020, but we've all had those people that reach out to us and we're like, is this legit or is this not? Is this, I got a funny feeling about this. Like, trust that, right? Because it's like, I think all of us with a heart to serve and that want to be in relationship with people, and it's so easy to get pressured into responding to somebody, clicking a link, all that sort of stuff. But if you don't, I mean, we just all got to be doubly, triply careful about that today.
yeah. And also, well, that's what I did. But honestly, when you start to talk about an enemy, I mean, I was sitting here all by myself and I thought that was a done deal.
Yeah.
And then what came hammering in my head is, you can't help this person. You can't help this girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
When did you get to be such a big shot that you can't help this person?
Yeah. Isn't it amazing?
I took the bait.
The bait. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Pat, you are, I just love, you are such a strong, incredible woman. And I mean, you are walking through this with such grace and such power, and you're not letting this define you. And I know, I mean, God's going to use it. He restores the things the enemy, the locusts have eaten, the enemy has taken. And I know that he is going to more than restore. It may not look like what we think it's going to look like, but there's going to be restoration in this in such an incredible way. And think about the multiplied thousands of people now that are hearing this, that can, number one, know that old account is not you, but number two, begin to put some safeguards in their own life and all that. So for those folks that want to follow the real you and the legit you, what is the best handle that they can use? And we'll put that in this, in the podcast show notes and on YouTube, so that folks can go to the right place and make sure they're following you.
Sure. Well, I'm certainly not going to be putting all my eggs over there, but and follow me so that I can keep you apprised of what's going on.
Yeah.
At Pat Butinsky Abstract Art.
Okay. Awesome.
That's me.
And your website, I know, is in production right now, but,
yes, but they
do you
can
know what the address is for that's going to be?
Yeah, I've had this handle for forever.
Yeah.
It's patbutinsky.com.
Yeah. Awesome. Great.
And if they want to sign up for my email list, right now it's still going through my course site, which is patbutinskyart.thinkific.com.
Okay.
They can take a look at the courses, and they can also slide down to the email list and get on my email list like that.
Great.
Because I will be opening up new avenues. And which is really, really interesting about this, Matt, is several months ago, before I started, I took this studio. It's within walking distance of my house.
Oh, how wonderful.
Red Bank has no place to park. So I always wanted people to come, but like, where would they park? Even if I used a venue here, where would they park? I have this massive parking lot behind it. I'm on a main street. Literally, it's like 1,200 steps from my house.
Wow. How awesome.
It's amazing. And it's in a basement, but it's bright and light. And the price was incredible for Red Bank. But I kept praying about it and praying about it. And so COVID resurged a little bit this winter, and things looked like they were shutting down and everything. And I was like, God, like, I don't know if I should go for this. I shouldn't go for this. And all I heard is that when everything shuts down, you open up.
Come on. Yeah.
And I said, okay, but I didn't think I was going to be shut down.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So talk about pivot. So here's my pivot. Come to Red Bank.
Exactly.
Come take a workshop with Pat Budinsky in her banging studio.
Exactly.
I can tell you guys that bring all your weary and down trouble and heavily laden.
We're going to do it, right?
I will love on you. And if you're not all that well and you're sick and you got stinking thinking or whatever, I will coddle you, but then I will beat you into good form in terms of being an artist. And you'll get all of that. And you
I
can
love
just
it.
come on here. You can go to the beach during the day. You can make art. You can do your thing. It is such a cool place to come. And I got space for you.
I love it. I love it. Well, Pat, I love you. I love your story. I'm just so thankful that you would share this with everybody today. Thank you so much for.
I'm going to share one more thing.
Yeah, please, please.
Okay. And you could cut this up. Or whatever. I was also told, and this is good, post everything to Pinterest also. Pinterest, which is a platform that I never really operated on, will save your stuff like way longer than Instagram will if you're trying to recover an account.
Interesting.
So save it to Pinterest as well. Also, your account can get disabled for silly reasons. It's just as bad. Your account can get disabled. I had a friend that I interviewed that the account was disabled. She was doing a giveaway. We've done a lot of giveaways. And she did a giveaway because she simply thought it was great for artists. She wasn't selling anything. And it was a phone holder so you could film. And they shut her down. You have to do disclaimers. You got to Google what the proper way to do a giveaway is, because again, they don't want to do anything for free or give anybody any free advertising.
Yeah.
So they completely shut her down and she cannot get her account back.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. So that's the other thing. Ending it, don't be afraid. Just be informed and keep doing what you do.
That's right. That's right.
And stay strong and stay very courageous.
Yeah.
And realize that there is a time and there's a purpose and there's a season for everything under heaven.
Yeah.
And you're going to sometimes dance and you're going to sometimes cry and you're going to sometimes cast stones and you're going to sometimes gather them together. And there's a time to war and there's a time for peace.
Yeah.
There's a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. If you really get into that, and I would just suggest, because I really think that God put this on my heart to share, really look at Ecclesiastes 3 and let that speak into your heart to help you recognize the season that God has you in now.
Yeah. It's like the sons of Issachar, right? They knew the times and they knew what to do, right? That's
right. That's right.
Yeah. Well, you're helping us know what to do, Pat. And thanks again for being on. It's great to reconnect with you. And it's also great that we can share this story and encouragement with others. So thanks so much.